Jesus freak here. Now, I'm sure it probably seems weird that someone like me from a mainline faith tradition ends up surrounding myself with evangelicals from different faith traditions. There's some overlap in the communities where I tend to find myself. For example, there's a group that's sometimes called the Heresy Hunters, with channels like Fighting for the Faith, The Messed Up Church, Long for Truth, Bezel T3. Most of these channels are confessional Lutheran, though you got some Baptists and some Pentecostals. Then you have the Bible freaks. Most of them seem to be Reformed Baptist to Pentecostal. And they were the ones who got me into doing videos. Then you have the Righteous Reformation crowd with Laurel and Tyler Thompson, with The Unction, with Social Fire E-Church, channels like that. And they're almost universally Pentecostal, although I think some of them might lean more into Baptist. And here I am, a United Methodist, the type that pretty much every evangelical out there calls lukewarm. Now, some might say, that doesn't sound so bad. Lukewarm has the implication you're not, enough of a believer because you're not on fire for the Lord! And is a reference to Revelation 3 with the letter to the Laodiceans, where Jesus says, I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would thou were cold or hot. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. So, lukewarm is actually a pretty sharp rebuke of a Christian. Like I said, it's suggesting, you're not on fire for the Lord! You're just going through the motions. Which, frankly, is true of a lot of mainliners. But I'm a fairly traditional-minded Christian. And I would think that up until about 150 years ago, a lot of the stuff I believe is pretty much what every Christian believed, in as far as they believed anything. Of course, then I get, be a good little Berean. No, not like that! Because they only want me to read the Bible so that I can confirm what they think, what they interpret it to mean. And here I go. I read it. I come to different conclusions because I'm taking it at face value without centuries, millennia even, of other people's interpretations. And I'm saying, look, this doesn't mean what you think it means. And they want to rip me a new one. Frankly, y'all are saying sola scriptura. You ain't sola scriptura. Because you're leaning on someone else's interpretation, not what the Bible actually says. Even I don't claim to be sola scriptura. I say prima scriptura, which means that I put the Bible above everything else. You have a lot of these people, a lot of the people that I criticize, that are criticized by the heresy hunters, criticized by the righteous Reformation, justly, because they're new apostolic Reformation. They're using a Christian veneer for something that's not Christian. First of all, it's just new thought with some window dressing, and new thought basically builds off the original heresy, which is, ye shall be as gods. That's the original heresy from the Garden of Eden. But you hear it out of the mouth of Kenneth Copeland. You hear it out of the mouth of Jesse Duplantis. You hear it out of the mouth of Paul White. And our current president has Paul White as his spiritual advisor, not because he actually thinks he's a spiritual person, but because she sucks up to him. Because a lot of the new apostolic Reformation is pushing for political power. And what did Jesus say? He said, my kingdom is not of this world. When he was asked if he was trying to set up some earthly kingdom, he says, if my kingdom were of this world, then would my servants fight that I should not be delivered to the Jews. But now is my kingdom not from hence. And yet these people are trying to build they're rewriting the Bible. You look at this so-called Passion Translation. That's not a translation. That's Brian Simmons, whose New Apostolic Reformation, rewriting the Bible to fit his heretical dogma. He doesn't actually believe that Jesus is coming back, despite the Bible saying he is. Like, translated this thing, and yet you don't believe what it says. And you call yourself a Christian. And these people talk about, oh, the Lord's giving me new revelation. The Lord... You realize y'all are claiming to write 67th books into the Bible. Y'all are denying that the Bible itself, as we have it now, is enough. And maybe that's why y'all are seeking signs and wonders. Because walking by faith and not by sight is not enough for you. You want the whiz-bang. You want the flash. You don't need the flash to walk by faith. When Paul was writing to Timothy, he said the scripture is enough. When he was writing to the Corinthians, he said, all I had in mind to know among you was Christ and Him crucified. You don't need whiz-bang, you need to believe. And if you only get us believe if you see signs and wonders, and you call us Pharisees, you're doing exactly what the actual Pharisees did. I gotta calm down. My heart can't take much more of this. I just wish, for interacting with other people who are fighting the good fight the way I'm trying to. I didn't have to just pop in someone's live chats every so often on their YouTube feeds. Like, y'all only run videos now and then. I'm online all the time. I don't got nothing else to do. I have no life. So, it's like, I'm just up here by myself doing a whole lot of nothing. But I won't say that I ain't trying to do something. Frankly, I hear all these new beliefs. I used to hear this old song as a kid, give me that old time religion, it's good enough for me. I've been looking for that old time. I think I believe in that old time religion. And that's why it irks me so much to see these blatant rip-offs of true Christianity. Anyway, Jesus freak out.